So it looks like I've experienced a bug in The Last of Us Remake Part 1. Um, I'm in my second playthrough, my first New Game Plus. I kept it moderate this time around. I did grounded and you know all the and tried to get all the bells and whistles on the first original, well the remaster on the PS4, and I got the platinum on that actually. Had to grind factions, everything else. So like been there, done that, grounded because I did that. I had to actually go through 3 playthroughs in order to get all of the upgrades because, as you know, parts are like extremely scarce the higher the difficulty. Um, it's not just resources, so parts were horrible too. But as you can see, I've got 265 pills stockpiled in just a playthrough and then up to university on the second one, right? I use this pulse ability to find materials. It's an accessibility thing. You can also use it for enemies, but it's not really that necessary. The only real time that that's beneficial is if you're trying to spot stalkers. But to get to the point, the bug that I experienced, if you didn't know, in the original, and I guess you can call it the remaster as well, not this game. Well, actually, yes. They stop spawning parts after you've purchased all of the upgrades on the workbench for the weapons. So once you've spent all of the parts that the game thinks you needed to, it stops spawning the parts in the world. I've just proven this because I've actually gone to a place, well this place is just dumped with fucking parts, but I went through all of Tommy's Dam in New Game Plus. Before that there was parts. There was parts, as late as the sniper section in the suburbs, just before you come to Tommy's Dam. Just before Henry and Sam die. And there was parts leading into that section. I know that on the right side of the sniper section, there's a deck that you can crawl underneath, and there's parts on the ground. And there's also parts in the back of the sniper's building, the house he's in. In the back side of that, there's a 25-part pickup. So it's like, I know that there's fucking parts. And then I went through the shiv door at Tommy's Dam when you first arrive, and I went through the shiv door in here. But there's no parts in here. Where's the shiv door? Is it down here? Yeah, the shiv door is right here. So check this out. This is the shiv door, room 205, lecture room. You come in, and this place is usually just loaded, right? Now, I'm not exactly sure where the parts were, but I can tell you right now, I think the parts are right here. There was like, I think the parts are supposed to be right here. Now, if there's like a gun here, and there will be like some parts. If it's a big pack, or if it's like a medium pack, there will be like a green kind of tube, sort of shaped like the canister for the fuel for the flamethrower, and it'll be left behind even after you pick up the parts. But there's nothing there to signify that there were ever any, like a big batch of parts here. It's like 25 or 50 parts here, I'm pretty sure. And if it's not there, it's here, but I'm pretty sure it's on the middle desk. They're not in here. There's been no parts. Now, if you look at my inventory, if you scroll over to artifacts, if you didn't know, you can always look at how many parts you have outside of a workbench by pulling open your bag and tabbing to the right all the way to artifacts to where you can view all of your collectibles. In the bottom, it'll tell you how many parts you have. You can always view it there. So it says I have 2 parts. And everything's upgraded, right? I've got all the weapons upgraded except for one thing. And that last upgrade is the Shorty 4th spread upgrade.
I guess this is as good a spot as any.
And it's not done, yet the game stopped spawning parts. Where's it at? Shorty. Yes, the secondary. Technically. So, look at that. The red spread. Everything else is checked off, you see, and I'll go into it. Just look, everything's checked off. I got the holsters. Hunting rifle maxed out, all checks. Nothing's just regular white print. Obviously at the top right, it would be red print if it was available because I have 2 parts and that's not enough for even the earliest upgrades. So everything's done except for the Shorty. And I click into it. You can see it looks pretty polished, but I'm sure when you get the final upgrade it does a little added thing. But look at that, 50. 20 plus an extra 25% spread. Everything else is done. I haven't done anything weird. I've done nothing. I just played through the game, went to New Game Plus, and then continued, and they were spawning parts in this playthrough, and then it just stopped. And I know that it stops because I played through the first game thoroughly, and I know that it stopped spawning parts because I got the final upgrade, and then I had parts left in my inventory. See how I have 2 left, but it's not giving me any more? What it's supposed to do is wait till you've purchased the last part upgrade for your weapons, and then stop spawning them. And it's weird because it spawns the pills, even though I've done all of the pill upgrades. Like, they're all done, you know, all 15 of them, and they keep spawning pills. So it's just silly that they even have this implemented feature where the game stops spawning parts. It's just stupid because they didn't do it with pills, so why should you do it with parts? All you do is create the potential for a bug like this to happen, where the game confuses itself somehow. You know, an extra prompt is you know, like, initiated at some point to where the game thinks that you've clicked the last of the upgrades and you haven't. So now I run into this problem, and like I said, on the remaster, and I'm assuming on the original, like the OG from 2013 for the PS3, I'm sure it is the same way on that. But I remember on the remaster, I know for a fact that did the same thing, only I actually got all the upgrades, and it didn't stop me from getting the last one. It didn't mess up. And if you didn't know, you could, like, if you didn't buy all the upgrades, like say you had 1 or 2 left, but you just didn't purchase them, the game would keep dropping parts no matter how many New Game Pluses you went through, and it would just keep dropping parts. You can get like 500 parts or something ridiculous like that. I think I actually had like 800 parts or some shit on the remaster before I actually bought the last upgrade. And the last upgrades I needed was on a 3rd playthrough, because I went through Grounded, and then I went through like Easy. I think it wasn't even called light back then. I think it was called easy, or very easy. But now it's very light and light, just like it is on the Last of Us 2 on the PS4. But I went through like a super easy, so they just like spam me with parts, and you know, I just knew where a lot of the part locations were. They didn't have this scan on the remaster to show you where all the stuff was, but now it's just like I've grabbed every part that I can find, and they just stopped spawning it throughout the last 2 acts. So something's definitely wrong there. You know, I mean, my save games, as you can see, like nothing too crazy here. I got a suburb save here. Today's the date as of today is September 6th. So this is a save from 2 nights ago. You know, I mean, I don't see anything conflicting anything here. New Game Plus, I'm doing the full loadout, so you know, New Game Plus saves, and maybe there's a problem there. As you can see, I've got the assault rifle. This is really the one unique thing about new loadout, is the fact that you have the potential to try out the AR and see how it handles against like infected and non-armored enemies, because as you know, previously the only way to use this, and currently if you don't do the new loadout option, or the full loadout where you just do the classic and you have to pick up weapons as you get them just like before, you wouldn't even be able to use this outside of the library, you know, at the very end of the game. Or not the library, the hospital. St. Mary's Hospital in Salt Lake City. You know, at the very end of the game, you know, like the ending. So it's just like, something's obviously going on here, and I don't know what it is. But it ain't right, that's all I know. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully this gets fixed. I'm not sure that doing a 3rd New Game Plus on the same save, if that will rectify this problem and allow the game to spawn parts. I think it's worth trying, but I just don't know if I want to do a whole nother playthrough just for a spread upgrade for this weapon. You know what I mean? Because I don't really use the shorty all that much, but I mean, I know it's good, and you know, it's faster firing than the pump, I'm pretty sure, because it's a magazine. But yeah, something ain't right. So I wanted to share that. I opened every drawer in this place, and I went through all of Tommy's Dam, and I got 0. Hold on. The last part pickup, now that I think about it, was where the dog is. I think his name's Buckley, I want to say, or something like that. I can't remember the name of the dog, but the dog at Tommy's Dam. and where the forklift is, just before you go inside where those guys are checking out the map or schematics or whatever, and you go into the actual plant facility, I guess I'll call it, where we're working on the engine or the turbine or whatever it is they're working on to try and restore electricity and restore power to the power plant, to the hydroelectric power plant. Where the dog is, there's a part pickup. I think it's like 1 or 5 parts, something like that, and it's like a small amount, but it's no more than 5. And it's sitting there on a crate in the corner, to the left corner. So you go next to the dog, on your left in the furthest corner, just right there, like 10 feet away from you, there will be a part pickup. That's the last parts I picked up, now that I think about it. That's the last parts I picked up. None have spawned after that. So it's just bizarre to me, you know. And I think I used the workbench in Tommy's Dam as well and spent some parts. And maybe that was the last time that I used you know what I mean, that I used parts. So that would be,
let's see what we got,
when the bug occurred. And I'm pretty sure I upgraded everything except for the shorty. And I think I upgraded the recoil, the last one of those, and the last fire rate. Those were the 2 upgrades that I did previous to this. And then I guess after that, if there were anything in the rest of Tommy's Dam, you know, if there was anything in the ambush when you're on the horseback with Tommy, or if there's anything in the ranch house when you go to, you know, find Ellie because she ran off. And then leading up to this, all of, you know, the garage where the flamethrower is, no parts. The campus area, no parts. The bedrooms, all of the bedrooms, the dorms you went into in the school, no parts. This entire science building so far, this floor and the floor above, all leading up to the very final room where you figure out where all the fireflies went, no parts. This entire building, shiv door, no parts, nothing. So the entire university level, I could say definitively no parts. But the last parts I grabbed were in Tommy's Dam, and it was parts leading up to the workbench inside the facility. But other than that, after that, no parts have spawned, and I still have an upgrade for the shorty, the spread, the 4th and final shorty upgrade that costs 50, and I have 2 parts that the game has since allowed me to pick up, which means I still need 48 more. So that's the bug. Let me know in the comments if anybody else has experienced this. I hope it gets fixed. I will attempt to finish this playthrough of medium plus and then go into another. I don't know which difficulty I'll do, but you know, I'll do another playthrough and in the same file, so like a plus and just see if they'll spawn parts for me in the beginning of the game, because I know for a fact where parts are in the beginning of the game. You know what I mean? And if they're not there, then it's very clear that their feature they set where they stop spawning parts after the game thinks you've upgraded everything you need with parts is flawed, because it just cut me off before I was fully finished upgrading everything. So that's all.